When Virgo is under pressure, the universe itself seems to hold its breath. This sign, born under the meticulous eye of Mercury, does not falter at the sight of chaos. It sharpens its blade. Where others may tremble, Virgo recalibrates. The weight of expectations, the roar of deadlines, the storm of obligations. These do not dismantle Virgo's resolve. They awaken a deeper current of strength, a quiet storm of precision and clarity. Virgo, ruled by the messenger of the gods, is not here to crumble. It is here to transform pressure into mastery. In the face of challenge, Virgo becomes the architect of order amid disorder. This earth sign, deeply grounded and innately strategic, does not react with panic but with a meticulous evaluation of the terrain. Every obstacle becomes a puzzle to solve, every demand a thread to weave into something functional, efficient, and refined. Under pressure, Virgo doesn't lose control, they gain focus. The mind becomes sharper, the senses heightened. There is no wasted motion. Every action has purpose. Every word is chosen with surgical precision. The chaos of others only amplifies Virgo's inner algorithm of logic and discernment. At work, when pressure mounts and systems falter, Virgo becomes the silent engine of resilience. Their attention to detail, so often underestimated, becomes their superpower. They notice the fracture before the collapse. They anticipate the consequence before it unfolds. In the heat of professional stress, they do not complain or seek the spotlight. They serve. They adapt. They lead without commanding, guiding the flow back to stability through competence and integrity. While others may rush or freeze, Virgo reorganizes the battlefield. They find efficiency in the impossible and calm in the crescendo of demands. Social pressure does not shatter Virgo's identity. It strengthens their boundary between self and spectacle. Virgo does not perform to appease the crowd. They refine their image to reflect their values. When faced with scrutiny, judgment, or rejection, Virgo does not yield to emotional chaos. Instead, they process, they analyze, they evolve. Social noise is filtered through a discerning lens, and what emerges is not a person broken by criticism, but one sharpened by experience. The more the world attempts to shake Virgo's foundation, the more deeply they root themselves in self-knowledge and quiet strength. In the family sphere, where dynamics can be layered and intense, Virgo often becomes the silent guardian. They carry the weight others overlook, maintain the details others forget, and protect the peace others threaten to unravel. Pressure in these realms often forces Virgo into the role of the one who holds it all together. The planner, the fixer, the observer who sees not only what is, but what could fall apart if no one intervenes. And Virgo does intervene, not with dramatics, but with grounded grace. They find the fissures in the structure and mend them without seeking praise. It is in this crucible of emotional and generational complexity that Virgo's loyalty, responsibility, and wisdom rise most visibly. Even when pressure comes from within, the inner voice of perfectionism, the relentless desire to be better, to fix more, to never err, Virgo meets this internal war with discipline and quiet courage. Their self-critique can be sharp, but it also drives them toward refinement. What others might see as self-doubt is often the forge in which Virgo's excellence is shaped. They don't merely endure inner pressure, they mold it into fuel. It is through this internal alchemy that Virgo emerges, not broken by their own standards, but empowered by them. In the end, Virgo does not just survive pressure. They transmute it. What would crack another becomes the grindstone that sharpens Virgo's gifts. Their victory is rarely loud or adorned with fanfare, but it is undeniable. They rise not with a shout but with a completed plan, a restored order, a path cleared for others to walk. They endure not because they are immune to pain or pressure, but because they understand its function to refine, to purify, to forge something worthy from the crucible. Virgo under pressure becomes the calm in the storm, the strategy in the chaos, the healer in the war zone. They are not the ones who burn the brightest in the beginning. They are the ones who last until the end. And in that endurance lies their silent, unstoppable power. There is a dimension of Virgo under pressure that is often hidden from the world, the sacred solitude they seek in the eye of the storm. Virgo is not merely a being of logic and detail. They are also profoundly introspective, drawn inward in moments of trial. Beneath the surface of their practical brilliance lies a sacred ritual of inner recalibration. When life demands more than what seems possible, Virgo retreats momentarily, not to escape, but to realign with their higher purpose. They are the guardians of internal order, and in silence, they reforge their mental armor. This connection to the stillness within is where they summon clarity when the outside world is screaming. Virgo is a mutable earth sign, and with that comes an inherent duality. They bend without breaking, shift without losing their core. This is not weakness. It is divine adaptability. Pressure does not fracture them because their essence is not rigid. Virgo possesses a silent elasticity that allows them to transform in real time, to reinvent their strategy mid-course without compromising their values. When conditions change, when plans fail, when control slips away, Virgo evolves. Their power is not only in what they know, but in how quickly they can learn, unlearn, and rebuild. What sets Virgo apart under pressure is their relationship with service. Unlike others who may become self-centered when overwhelmed, Virgo turns outward. They ask themselves not how they can escape pressure, but how they can be of use in it. There is a sacred dignity in this. Their acts of service are not born of subjugation, but of purpose. Virgo understands that order heals, that care restores, that precision can be an act of compassion. Under pressure, their service becomes revolutionary. Not loud or grand, but exact, intentional, necessary. They are the silent architects of recovery in any system that begins to fall apart. In moments when emotional storms rage around them, Virgo may seem stoic, even distant. But this detachment is not coldness. It is their form of resilience. They process emotions through the lens of analysis, sorting through the mess of feeling until they find the truth beneath it. They do not fear discomfort. They dissect it. And in doing so, they often become the emotional stabilizers for those around them. Their calm is contagious. Their logic is anchoring. They don't inflame chaos. They absorb it, refine it, and return it to the world in a form that others can understand and handle. There is also a sacred discipline in Virgo's response to pressure, a kind of spiritual training embedded into every moment of strain. This sign, governed by Mercury, is not just collecting facts. It is refining the soul through the mastery of detail. Every challenge becomes a classroom, every mistake a diagram of future success. Virgo does not fear failure, they fear stagnation. And so, when the world tightens its grip, Virgo digs deeper into growth. They become more exact, more aware, more capable. The crucible does not destroy them. It completes them. Beneath their practical nature lies a quiet idealism, a vision of a better world, a more harmonious process, a cleaner path. This vision is what drives them when everything seems on the brink of collapse. Virgo sees what could be, even when what is seems overwhelming. This is the secret fuel that others do not recognize. They are not just solving problems, they are building futures. They do not merely endure pressure. They extract wisdom from it and seed the soil for what must come next. There is a relentless courage in Virgo's heart, though it rarely shouts. It is the courage to hold themselves to higher standards, to do what is right rather than what is easy, to stay committed to improvement even when there is no applause. This is the quiet valor of Virgo, the warrior in the background who ensures the mission succeeds. They will never need to proclaim their greatness. They simply become it, again and again, with every challenge they face. When all seems lost, Virgo becomes the custodian of hope through order, the quiet healer who doesn't run from the fire but enters it with a blueprint. They are the embodiment of sacred resilience, not because they are immune to pressure, but because they allow it to shape them into something greater. And in this transformation, they rise not only to meet the challenge but to transcend it, becoming a force that holds the broken pieces of the world with steady, capable hands. In the end, Virgo is not just a sign that survives pressure. It is a divine force of evolution within it. Where others see endings, Virgo sees new beginnings, honed by experience, strengthened by duty, and elevated by the sacred art of perfection in motion. They are the quiet revolution. They are the calm in the roar. They are the ones who endure with grace, grow with intention, and lead through quiet excellence. And from that place, they rise, again and again, unstoppable. There is a hidden resilience within Virgo that few understand. A strength forged not in fire but in repetition, dedication, and the sacred ritual of refinement. Virgo is not built for spectacle, nor do they seek recognition in the way fire signs might. Their power is subtle, methodical, and unwavering. When pressure becomes relentless, Virgo turns to structure as salvation. They create rhythm out of chaos, timelines out of turmoil, routines that become shields against the disorder that threatens to consume. This is the magic of the earth element in its mutable form, the capacity to create order that breathes, to adapt systems in real time while never compromising the foundation. In moments of extreme pressure, Virgo's instinct is not to rebel or retreat, but to fortify. There is something warrior-like in the way they approach difficulty, not through brute force, but through consistency. Where others seek escape, Virgo seeks engagement. They do not flinch from the workload, from the responsibility, from the unending list of needs and expectations. They organize it. They confront it. And in doing so, they become something greater than themselves. The linchpin holding everything together, the strategist who sees every moving part, the healer who never stops adjusting the flow until balance is restored. This sign is ruled by Mercury, not just the god of communication, but of thresholds, transitions, and the unseen logic that binds disparate realms. Virgo embodies this mercurial mastery in how they navigate high-stress environments, not with loud resistance, but with insight and adaptability. They sense the undercurrents, notice the patterns others miss, and silently reposition themselves to stay ahead of the collapse. It is in these moments that Virgo becomes more than just the helper or the analyst. They become the tactician of destiny, operating with foresight and grounded intuition that cuts through even the most complex crises. Under immense social or emotional pressure, Virgo's strength lies in their ability to detach from the hysteria of the moment and reconnect with their inner compass. This isn't indifference, it's clarity. When others are swept up in noise, Virgo returns to the essence. They know how to separate what truly matters from what is fleeting. Their mind is their sanctuary, and within it, they hold not only the answers but the discipline to act on them. They know that emotions are powerful, but they also understand that emotions must be processed, not obeyed blindly. Through introspection, through self-honesty, through a sacred process of inner alignment, Virgo emerges with conviction that is unshakable. What remains mostly unseen in Virgo's journey under pressure is the immense emotional labor they carry silently. They are often the ones managing not only their own stress but the unspoken needs of everyone around them. They take on roles without being asked, sense vulnerabilities without being told, and bear the weight of others' expectations without seeking gratitude. Yet this quiet service is not weakness. It is rooted in cosmic duty, in a sacred understanding that healing, guidance, and restoration begin not with grandeur, but with precision, empathy, and tireless commitment. They are the guardians of what others discard. They protect what is fragile, not because it is easy, but because someone must, and Virgo is strong enough to choose that burden. There is also a mystical quality to Virgo's endurance that often goes unrecognized. Behind their analytical mind lies a deep devotion to wholeness. Not perfection in the shallow sense, but the deeper, divine concept of integrity. The alignment of mind, body, and spirit in pursuit of something worthy. This is what sustains Virgo when everything else crumbles. They are not working just for results. They are crafting a reality where truth, efficiency, and beauty coexist. This devotion gives them purpose in pressure, and that purpose becomes a light through even the darkest trials. Virgo's legacy is not measured in noise, but in impact. After the pressure subsides, it is Virgo's work that endures. The systems they built, the relationships they repaired, the fires they quietly extinguished. They may not be praised in the moment, but the ripple of their presence transforms everything it touches. They are not the storm. They are the hand that steers through it. Not the spotlight, but the force behind it. Their victories are not always celebrated, but they are absolute. In every myth, There is a figure who carries the wisdom of the ages, who works behind the scenes to guide, to correct, to protect. Virgo is this figure in human form. The pressure does not diminish them. It reveals the sacred pattern of their purpose. And when all is said and done, Virgo stands refined, resilient, and radiant in their quiet power, having turned adversity into legacy and pressure into a path of ascension. There is a divine endurance in Virgo that is forged not only in intellect or structure, but in the sacred contract they hold with the universe, the contract to elevate the human experience through refinement, discernment, and service. This mission does not yield in the face of pressure. In fact, pressure is the very crucible that brings this contract into focus. Virgo is not made to simply survive difficulty. They are designed to meet it with such unwavering integrity that even adversity bows to their precision. Their journey is not one of resistance for its own sake, but of intelligent, calibrated movement through complexity, always seeking the essence, the truth, the path that others overlook. When time becomes an enemy, when deadlines tighten like a noose and expectations converge from every direction, Virgo enters a state of sacred flow. This is the hidden realm where their true magic is unlocked. Governed by Mercury, the divine communicator between gods and mortals, Virgo accesses realms of insight that others miss. Their perception becomes heightened, their analysis becomes surgical, and their humility becomes a weapon of transcendence. Humility is not weakness for Virgo. It is their chosen armor, forged from the awareness that ego clouds clarity. While others try to assert dominance over chaos, Virgo collaborates with it, reshapes it, and brings it into harmony. Their resilience is not always seen in motion. Sometimes, it is most powerful in stillness. There are moments when Virgo, under immense pressure, chooses to pause, not from exhaustion, but from wisdom. In this stillness, they retreat inward not to escape but to realign with the deeper rhythm that the world has forgotten. Virgo knows that rushing does not always equal progress. They know when to wait for the right moment to act, to observe the unfolding before stepping forward with accuracy rather than noise. This restraint is not passivity, but a deep mastery of timing, a sacred trust in the unfolding process that their spirit understands even when the world does not. There is an ancestral knowledge within Virgo, a memory encoded in their soul that remembers how civilizations fall without order, how lives unravel without structure, and how healing fails without purity of intention. Under pressure, Virgo draws on this timeless wisdom, often unconsciously. Their urge to correct, to improve, to optimize is not about control. It is about preserving what is sacred. They see the fraying edges where others see the surface. They understand that a stitch in time saves a legacy. And so they work, relentlessly, silently, precisely, not to be praised, but because the universe speaks through their hands. What is often misunderstood is the emotional strength Virgo holds behind their composed exterior. They are not emotionally cold, they are emotionally disciplined. When emotions threaten to overwhelm, Virgo does not shut down. They begin to translate the language of feeling into something they can heal. They turn pain into insight, conflict into understanding, and heartbreak into evolution. This emotional alchemy is one of their greatest gifts, especially under pressure. It allows them to support others with empathy and clarity, to hold space for pain without being consumed by it, and to respond not from impulse, but from wisdom. There is also a mystical undertone to Virgo's connection with the body. As an earth sign, they are deeply attuned to the physical vessel, its rhythms, its signals, its needs. Under pressure, Virgo instinctively begins to ground themselves through the physical world. Whether through breath, movement, nutrition, or the recalibration of space, they find balance in the tangible. This connection to the body becomes a sacred instrument for navigating stress. They intuitively understand that a chaotic mind cannot find peace in a chaotic environment. So they cleanse, organize, purify their space, their body, their thoughts until alignment is restored. It is through this alignment that their true resilience emerges. In times when betrayal, disappointment, or injustice enter their path, Virgo may not react with fire or vengeance, but with an even deeper commitment to truth and integrity. Their justice is quiet, but absolute. They simply continue the work, continue the refinement, continue to build lives, systems, and realities that cannot be corrupted. Their response to being wronged is not destruction, it is elevation. They become better, they transcend, and in doing so, they expose the weakness of those who underestimated them. They do not retaliate, they transform. The essence of Virgo under pressure is that of the eternal student and sacred craftsman, learning from every hardship, shaping every scar into wisdom, turning every flaw into a facet of strength. They are not here to conquer through dominance, but to elevate through excellence. They rise not on the shoulders of others, but through the meticulous and often invisible work they dedicate themselves to day after day. They are not only survivors of pressure, they are the alchemists of it. And when the dust settles, when the trials have passed and others look around for who made the impossible happen, it is Virgo who stands, not demanding recognition, but already preparing for the next task. They are the quiet force that held the world together while no one was watching. They are the sacred labor behind every success that seemed effortless. They are the embodied wisdom of what it means to rise through challenge, not in spite of it, but because of it. And in that rise, they become unstoppable. In the grand tapestry of the zodiac, Virgo is the silent guardian of integrity, the quiet flame that does not flicker even when winds of adversity howl with fury. What has yet to be fully spoken of is the profound relationship Virgo holds with sacred duty, not duty imposed, but duty chosen. This is a sign that embodies devotion in its purest form, a sacred oath taken not with words, but with every action, every thought, every step taken toward improvement. Under pressure, Virgo does not merely perform. They consecrate their efforts. They bring sanctity to the mundane, transmuting ordinary moments into offerings of excellence. Every detail corrected, every flaw resolved, every burden lifted becomes a prayer to a higher standard, a ritual of mastery performed with reverence. There is a kind of warrior that does not raise a sword, but who fights on the battlefield of entropy and disorder. Virgo is this kind of warrior. Theirs is not a war of domination, but a holy resistance against carelessness, chaos, and decline. When others retreat into despair, Virgo leans in with fierce compassion and refuses to let the light fade. This unyielding inner standard, this sacred refusal to let things fall into ruin, is the fire that carries them through all forms of pressure, personal, professional, social, emotional. They will not allow mediocrity to take root, not in themselves, not in what they love, and not in the world they believe can be better. What remains largely unspoken is Virgo's quiet revolution against inner doubt. As a mutable sign ruled by Mercury, Virgo holds an ever-active mind, one capable of astonishing analysis but also haunted by self-scrutiny. Under pressure, the inner critic often grows louder. Yet here lies a hidden epic. Virgo's battle is not only with the world's demands but with the echoes of imperfection they see in themselves. And still they rise. Still they choose discipline over discouragement. Still they keep moving, keep correcting, keep building. In doing so, they demonstrate a heroism that is not loud but luminous, the heroism of those who refuse to yield to their own shadows. There is a divine irony in how Virgo bears pressure. While the world may impose standards, Virgo often holds themselves to a higher one. They do not wait to be told what is expected. They set the bar, and often, they are the only ones who can reach it. This self-imposed elevation is not arrogance, but a calling, the call to embody the potential they sense in themselves. And though it may lead to periods of solitude, of feeling misunderstood, Virgo does not abandon the mission. They refine it. They persist not because it is easy, but because their soul recognizes that excellence is not a luxury, but a responsibility. Another aspect that glimmers beneath the surface is Virgo's deep karmic understanding of time. This sign knows instinctively that all things unfold in cycles, that nothing worthwhile is rushed, and that patience is not waiting, it is preparation. While others panic when immediacy demands answers, Virgo prepares in silence, plans in detail, waits with strength. They do not react, they respond. This mastery of time allows them to withstand long-term pressure, to move steadily even when the end is not yet in sight, and to complete what others abandon halfway. They understand that greatness is born not in bursts, but in constancy. Virgo's soul also carries the wisdom of sacred humility. They are not motivated by attention but by alignment. They do not need to be the face of triumph. They are content being the foundation upon which triumph is built. In pressure-filled environments, they often become the unseen strategist, the quiet healer, the essential element that makes success possible. Their influence is woven into the structure itself. And when others speak of miracles or last-minute breakthroughs, they overlook the truth, that it was Virgo, behind the scenes, holding the thread, guiding the system, ensuring the miracle had a path to manifest. What is rarely acknowledged is Virgo's ability to endure emotional labor for the sake of others. They often carry invisible weights, absorb unspoken tensions, and take responsibility not only for their own balance but for the collective. This unseen emotional strength is forged through years of learning how to function under pressure while still showing up for others. Their emotional restraint is not coldness, it is sacrifice. It is the choice to delay their own unraveling so that someone else can find peace. And when the moment comes where they are finally seen, when someone recognizes the depth of their labor, the acknowledgement is not what lifts them. It is the realization that someone else learned from their example. That is the true reward. Knowing their resilience taught resilience. Even in silence, Virgo leads. Even in stillness, they transform. Even when overlooked, they elevate everything around them. They are the architects of order in a disordered world, the protectors of potential where others see decay. And through it all, they remain rooted, unshaken, and quietly powerful. Rising not with noise, but with grace. Not with fire, but with the steady force of the earth itself. Virgo, under pressure, becomes not less of who they are, but more. They reveal the divine design embedded in their soul, to serve, to heal, to perfect not out of ego, but out of purpose. They become the unseen hand that steadies the trembling, the quiet voice that brings clarity to confusion, the steady pulse of excellence in a world too often rushing toward collapse. And so, when all seems lost, Virgo endures, not because they must, but because they were made to hold sacred ground, even when it trembles beneath them. There is a hidden celestial blueprint within Virgo that ties them not only to the earth they so carefully tend, but to the sacred order that underpins the cosmos itself. They are not simply ruled by Mercury in the conventional sense, but are infused with the essence of divine intelligence, a consciousness that does not speak in volume, but in precision. Virgo is the embodiment of the sacred scribe, the keeper of unseen laws, the translator of chaos into meaning. Under pressure, this connection to a greater intelligence becomes their secret weapon. While others may be overtaken by urgency or drowned in confusion, Virgo becomes a conduit for clarity. Their mind is not merely logical. It is attuned to the hidden harmony of all things, capable of aligning moving pieces with grace that looks almost supernatural in its quiet accuracy. In extreme environments where others crumble under the weight of complexity, Virgo does not collapse. They adapt, they analyze, they evolve. Their adaptability is not about compromise, but about optimization. They are the great editors of the zodiac, capable of stripping away all that is non-essential until only truth remains. And in this purification process, Virgo is forged stronger, more focused, more potent. They emerge not only unbroken, but purified by the fire of their own discipline. Each pressure they endure does not corrode them. It polishes them, carving their potential into something crystalline, something eternal. There is also an almost mythic fortitude in Virgo's moral compass. They operate according to internal ethics that are not imposed by society, but are deeply encoded into their soul's architecture. In high-pressure situations where ethical lines blur and convenience tempts compromise, Virgo remains anchored. Their integrity is immovable not out of stubbornness, but out of loyalty to the truth they live for. This inner code allows them to act with unwavering authenticity even when the world around them rewards dishonesty or shortcuts. Their choices, though quiet, echo with the weight of timeless virtue. A quality often missed in Virgo's resilience is their deep link to cycles, natural, emotional, spiritual. Their mutable nature allows them to perceive when to release, when to begin again, when to evolve without ego. Under pressure, they do not cling to outdated forms. They shed layers with precision. They are the guardians of sacred decay and renewal, understanding that true mastery involves knowing when to let go. This gives them an evolutionary edge in times of prolonged stress. They do not resist change, they refine it. They reinvent themselves piece by piece, layer by layer, always moving toward a more elevated version of who they are destined to become. Behind Virgo's practical surface lies an intense sensitivity to suffering, personal, collective, even planetary. They feel the subtle imbalances others ignore, and rather than collapse under the enormity of what must be done, they focus. They narrow their vision not out of narrowness, but out of purpose. Their healing work under pressure often takes the form of small but potent actions, gestures of care, systems of support, words chosen with such precision that they become medicine. They do not need to be loud to be revolutionary. Virgo's strength lies in their constancy, in their ability to show up and offer what is needed over and over again without the need for recognition. There is a deep cosmic irony in Virgo's destiny. Often misunderstood as overly analytical or too restrained, they are in truth one of the most spiritually potent signs of the zodiac. Their path is not marked by spectacle but by sacred labor. They are not seekers of light because it flatters the ego, but because they know light reveals what must be healed. In this way, Virgo becomes a living force of purification in times of darkness. Under the crushing expectations of family, society, and profession, they do not fracture. They synthesize. They collect the broken parts, reconfigure the chaos, and create something that is not only functional but holy. They do not fear flaws. They work with them. They listen to them. Virgo understands that perfection is not the absence of mistakes, but the full integration of them into something meaningful. Under pressure, they are not hunting for control. They are seeking alignment. This distinction is what makes them unstoppable. Their victories are not won by overpowering obstacles, but by understanding them so completely that they dissolve under the light of awareness. Even in exhaustion, Virgo finds a way to serve. Their devotion does not expire in discomfort. If anything, their true essence shines brightest when circumstances are most difficult. In the final hours, in the moments where all seems lost, it is often Virgo who remains, still working, still believing, still finding a way to bring coherence to the fragments. They do not need to be thanked. The outcome itself is their offering, their quiet revolution. Virgo is often the last to ask for help, not out of pride, but because they have learned to carry the weight. But when they do fall, they rise with the same integrity that has always defined them. Their recovery is not dramatic, it is deliberate. Every setback becomes an opportunity to rewire their systems, to strengthen the architecture of their inner world. They return stronger, clearer, more precise in their purpose. To live as Virgo under pressure is to become the quiet architect of miracles, the one who holds the line when others flee, the guardian of order in the wild storm of life. Their journey is not for the faint of heart, for it requires the patience of the earth and the speed of Mercury, the discernment of the healer and the endurance of the builder. But for those born under this sign, pressure is not a punishment. It is an invocation. It calls forth their genius, their grit, their grace. And so Virgo endures not just to survive, but to elevate all things. They do not bend to pressure. They become its master, transmuting it into progress, into purity, into sacred precision. They are the calm within the storm, the wisdom behind the effort, the hand that heals while building what lasts beyond time, beyond what has already been illuminated. There lies within Virgo an unshakable relationship to ancestral memory, a lineage of spiritual craftsmanship that has passed down through lifetimes like a thread of gold woven into the soul. This thread carries not only the knowledge of how to build, heal, refine, and restore, but the remembrance that every act of service done under pressure is part of a greater mosaic of cosmic responsibility. Virgo does not exist merely to improve systems. They are here to honor legacy. Under the weight of expectations that might crush others, Virgo becomes the vessel through which generations of discipline, wisdom, and quiet triumph continue to live. In the moments when silence surrounds them and no applause meets their perseverance, Virgo is still listening, not to the world, but to the sacred frequency of their own conscience. This inner compass is more than morality. It is soul alignment. It is Virgo's way of staying connected to the divine in a world that often forgets the sacred. And under pressure, this connection does not falter. If anything, it strengthens. Virgo may bend under stress, but it is not a collapse. It is a bow to something higher. They yield to realign. They pause to refine. They know that nothing great is born from haste that lacks precision. Virgo's elemental essence, earth, grants them a rare kind of still power. While fire burns, air disperses, and water flows, earth endures. Virgo is not driven by impulse but by mastery. They are one of the few who can hold pressure like a sculptor holds clay, shaping it without breaking it, knowing exactly how much resistance something can take before it transforms. And when the outer world becomes a blur of demands and disarray, Virgo turns inward, not in escape, but in recalibration. In solitude, they do not isolate, they fortify. The quiet is not absence for them. It is strategy. It is the forge in which they sharpen every thought, every action, every part of themselves until they are razor-focused and unshakable. There is a warrior spirit in Virgo that does not wear armor or carry weapons, but instead wields precision, restraint, and sacred duty. They go to battle not against others, but against disintegration of standards, of integrity, of hope. When the world frays at the edges, Virgo threads the needle. When foundations crack, Virgo mixes the mortar. Their war is not for conquest, but for coherence. And they fight not with fury, but with clarity. An epic, exacting clarity that can see through illusion and reveal the core of what must be restored. Virgo under pressure also embodies a deep, often overlooked magic, the magic of repetition. Where others grow weary of consistency, Virgo finds transcendence in it. They know that mastery is hidden in routine, in the rituals of care, the constancy of showing up fully even when no one notices. Their power lies in the sacred repetition of excellence. When others abandon the path out of boredom or fear, Virgo keeps walking, step by steady step, building something that will outlast trends, outlast chaos, outlast even the fear that tries to undo them. Their consistency is a defiance. It is a vow to the future. At the emotional level, Virgo's sensitivity is an instrument of divine refinement. They may not express their emotions in wild torrents, but they feel with extraordinary depth and nuance. And in moments of pressure, when emotional weight compounds alongside responsibility, Virgo turns inward and begins to dissect pain with sacred respect. They do not run from wounds. They examine them, clean them, and learn from them. This gives Virgo a unique emotional authority. They do not drown in the storm. They become the stillness within it. Others lean on Virgo not because they are detached, but because they are centered. They can see the emotional machinery behind what appears chaotic and offer words or actions that gently realign others with themselves. There is also a cosmic irony in how Virgo's greatness is often invisible. They perform miracles in silence. They hold entire systems together without needing their name etched into the monument. They do not ask for light because they are the framework that holds the light steady. Their power lies in the fact that they do not need to be seen to be essential. And under pressure, when visibility often fades, Virgo remains. They do not require validation to continue. They continue because excellence is its own reward. Virgo's ability to compartmentalize under duress is another dimension of their epic capability. While others may become consumed by one overwhelming factor, Virgo can mentally sort the pieces of their challenge and begin working through them with a steady rhythm. This is not emotional detachment, it is emotional maturity. It is the ability to remain functional while healing. They embody the sacred duality of working and feeling, enduring and evolving, fixing and forgiving. Their capacity to remain productive amidst pain is not coldness, it is commitment to purpose. As the zodiac's alchemist, Virgo possesses the rare power to turn every pressure into elevation. Every criticism becomes a chance for refinement. Every misstep becomes a step toward a better method. They are not afraid of being wrong. They are afraid of stagnating. Under pressure, they do not break, they recalibrate. They do not lose faith, they shift it inward. And when the world finally sees what they have built in silence, it becomes clear: Virgo has never merely endured pressure. They have transmuted it into legacy. Their path is not the loudest, but it is one of the most vital. It is Virgo who repairs the broken systems, who supports the tired leaders, who maintains the order that allows creativity and freedom to even exist. And though they are often misunderstood, underestimated, or overlooked, their reward is not found in recognition. It is in the knowledge that their work matters, that they upheld what others abandoned, that they stayed aligned when others strayed. Virgo walks the path of the unseen sacred, the one who blesses through labor, who loves through structure, who uplifts through standards. Under pressure, they do not retreat. They rise again and again, until the world around them reflects even a fraction of the grace, purity, and excellence they carry within. They are the silent architects of hope, the humble giants of endurance, the quiet saviors of sacred order. And in every trial, they fulfill not just their role, but their destiny.